Welcome to Coxie's Picks. If you like what you see, don't forget to subscribe. Enjoy.
Hello and welcome to Coxie's Picks, and today we're going to be looking at the Smith & Wesson Model 100, not the 100 ones, the 100 from the year 2000 onwards, you can tell, because it's a push fit and not a rivet fit. And that's because I've recently stumbled upon, thanks to Starrylock, a new channel of lock Pickin Energy, and he's got a set of M100 vintage, which I'd love to see him have a go at picking, because the exploits that are capable on this particular model of handcuff are also transferable to his. Admittedly, they're a bit trickier to pull off because it's hinged, but it's still a valid cuff. So, what do I mean by the exploits? Well, obviously we've got the standard double lock window and a keyway. The keyway and the double lock window and the mechanism on this cuff is identical to his. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to demonstrate a few methods for getting this particular handcuff mechanism open. So first off, we need to set the double lock, which is done by reaching in through the window, pushing the spring all the way along so it's no longer visible in the window, and that's the double lock set. The first tool we're going to use is a standard hook. I'm just using a cheapy one. It might look very similar to the Genesis one. I think it's from the same Chinese supplier. But we've got the hook, and we're going to aim to put our hook in at this sort of angle and then twist ever so carefully so that the spring becomes visible on the window. Now, a lot of people on YouTube will tell you that you need to proper follow it all the way around and force it in. This will not only bend your tool, but it might also damage the mechanism. I'm going to show you a way that you only need to just gently tickle it through. The idea is that we want to be gentle because we're going to be doing this in an unconventional way. So we're going to go in at this angle, straighten up so we're nice and level, as you can see. And then we're going to apply a little bit of rotation until the spring just becomes visible. So you can just see it just there coming in. We're then going to carefully return, take our tool out. We're then going to feed it in and pull the spring out that way. And there, the double lock is done, and we've not put any additional force on our tool or the mechanism inside. So it'll allow us to pick us more and more and more. Then we go on to the actual act of picking the single lock. We could shim it by going in through there and forcing a bit of metal in between the teeth, but these are now vintage, so we want to take a lot of time and be delicate and careful with them because we want them to last forever. So what we're going to do is we're going to go in at this sort of angle, right? People on YouTube again will say come down in this side, turn it, and then act like a key using your tool. That's all well and good, but Smith & Wesson are notoriously tight keyways, so that will prove very difficult. You may bend the key post and then cause damage to your little antique that you've got going on. So what I suggest we do is we go in at this particular angle. We use the top of the key post, the top of the keyway as our working area, and then we apply a little bit of torsion and we'll get the cuff open. What do I mean by that? Well, we're going to go in at this angle, apply a little bit of a twist, and we've got the cuff open. Easy peasy. So, we've done the double lock and the single lock without damaging the mechanism or putting any additional force on the tool and not damaging it in any way. So, what's next? Well, I've alluded to quite a few things. I mean, obviously we can use the Parker tool if you want to see how Parker works. I've got a separate video on that. I'm not going to repeat my actions there. But I did do a short recently where I demonstrated a unique exploit with these. And I don't think people noticed it. It's quite a quick exploit. And it does involve the window. So what we're going to do is we're going to set the double lock. Like so. That's the double lock now set. And then all we're going to do is we're going to reach in behind the spring. There's a gap between the top body and the spring, and we're going to lever up in this sort of action, right? And that'll cause the spring to come out. So what do I mean by that? You reach in, you find it, and there's the spring, just like so, and that is the cuff unlocked. So we've managed to do the double lock, which then leaves us the option of shimming or going via the keyway. Now there is a slight, well, do I do it with the weird, everyone's opted for S-bend, which as you can see there, you can see an S-bend, which you have to have pre-bent. I mean, don't get me wrong, you could pre-pen the safety pin, and then you could do exactly the same exploit there and then work through here, and I'll just show it working, just so you can see it does work. Hang on, there we go. Right, and all it's doing is it's exploiting the same action that we did with the hook. But what do I suggest we do? Well, I like doing the old found items. So we found this, and this is what we've used to get out of our cuff so far. So we might as well carry on using it. we're going to reach into the keyway, and we're not going to go all the way to the back. We're going to come back up ever such a fraction and just put one bend in. About 45 degrees will do, but hey, it doesn't matter as long as we've got a bend in it. So we've got a bend, right? It's not the world's greatest, but let's see how it works. We're going to do exactly the same as we did with our hook. Come up in that working area, and then we're going to find the springy bit. Oh, bit fiddly. And we'll get it open. Now, that means that I don't need to fiddle around. If the cuffs are in the rear, I can just literally quickly do one bend. If you can't reach the keyway easily to get the bend, you can also do the bend on the bow here, or you could even use your teeth if need be to make the bend. But there we go. All right, so that's that part and that part. Oh, and finally, there's a standard key blade, and I would highly suggest that you start modifying your keys to have the tool with a back slice. Do they function exactly the same? Well, on a Smith & Wesson, you wouldn't even notice that there was a modification. But if you were to try and use this on more exotic cuffs, you'd hit a problem, and you need to start having the split tooth and the split back. So, I know it's a long video, but thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to Pickin Energy, and thank you very much Starrylock for pointing them out to me. Stay safe everyone, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye!